Hey there, everybody. We are going to go through a quick little 10-minute routine to sort of reset our nervous systems, to help you de-stressify your body, help things to relax and get into a more resting mode. So if we've been doing something like a lot of workouts or just had like stressful events in our lives, something that can happen is that stress, what we call a fight or flight response, having that adrenaline, that cortisol flowing through our body, it can become sort of habitual and stay over for longer than it needs to. Now, stress is important. Stress is something that we need in order to have something to adapt to grow stronger from, but they're meant to be short bursts of stress, and you should be living your life, 90% at least. We'll just say 99% parasympathetic. So being calm, being relaxed, and not having your body so stressed out all the time. That way you can heal appropriately from that 1% of stress that hopefully is mostly intentionally induced through fitness. But even if it's not, this is a great routine to follow, just a great full systemic body-wide relaxation, really getting that parasympathetic response initiated. You will need a couple tools. I'm going to be using the Yoga Tune-Up Alpha Balls. If you have the foam roller, that can work. It's not quite as good, but it's worth something at least. Or if you have smaller therapy balls, those will work as well. You'll also need a kind of bigger inflated ball. This is the Yoga Tune-Up Gorgeous Ball. It's the best thing. It's really made for what we are going to be doing with it. But if you have something like a Pilates ball, which is something you can get at most local sporting goods stores for like $2 or $3, they're not expensive, but you want to make sure that it's nice and soft. You don't want this to be fully inflated and really firm and hard. If you don't have one of these, you can get a pillow, get a cushion, and kind of ball it up a bit. Again, that will be soft, and you just want something that will fit into your belly. So we're going to do an upper back massage routine. We're going to do an abdominal massage routine. If that's new for you, make sure you take it nice and slow. And then we're going to do some diaphragmatic stretching, meaning stretching of our diaphragm inside of our torso, and get things moving along with some deep breathing. So to start with, we're going to take the therapy balls, and we're going to start off with our backs. If I kind of show from this position here, starting right below the neck, very top of the shoulders, we're going to gradually move down to about right in between your shoulder blades. So to begin with, be on a mat. This is hard to do on like a hardwood floor, so be on a mat or be on a carpet. Carpet really works well, especially when you're using therapy balls like these. But starting off, laying down, balls are going to go right into your upper back. We're kind of thinking that area, if you have a significant other, a good friend, and you really like them to dig their thumbs into this area of the body right above your shoulder blades, kind of at the corner of your neck and shoulder, it feels so good. And it's really getting into those upper traps. So all I'm going to do here is bridge my hips up, and I'm going to start moving kind of up and down, only going a few centimeters. I have my arms up over my head, and that's going to kind of bunch up the upper traps, these muscles that we're massaging out there. So you can use your hips to kind of gauge the pressure. You can take your hips higher, and that'll increase the pressure on the therapy balls or the foam roller, or you can take it down to sort of decrease the pressure. If that's still excruciating, you can always take this to the wall. Now, as we're going through this, we always want to remember, take periodic, big, deep breaths. Always make sure that you are trying to breathe as deeply and as slowly as you can. And if you can, try to keep it entirely to your nose, meaning nasal breathing, so in through the nose and also out through the nose. Try to keep your mouth closed, and let me do all the talking. Now we're going to do this for about a minute, and then we're going to transition to a different drill. Now, as I go through these drills, I'm not intending to spend too long on them, but if you ever want to spend more time with it, please feel free to stop the video, pause it, and then continue on when you're ready to move on. So moving on to the next drill, we're going to keep our hips up in this position as best we can. If that starts to get really tiring for your butt and hamstrings, just take it down for a few moments, take a breath, and then go back in when you are ready to. So it's going to take a little bit of coordination, but what I'm going to do here is, with my hips up, I'm going to start off with a big deep breath, and I'm going to time that breath with my arms going up overhead, and then I'm going to use my exhale to take my arms back down. Now I want to keep this nice and slow, timing my inhale with my arms going up overhead, and then exhaling, letting them come back down along my sides. So if we go a few times just like that. And again. And just keep going a few more times at your own pace. We're trying to make it a little bit of a goal to make it take as long as possible to go through a full, back and forth sequence. As your breathing gets a little bit more calm, as you can take bigger and deeper breaths, which means that your arms will take even longer to move through this range of motion. So after we've done that for a minute or two, what we're going to do is roll up a little bit, or you can use your hand to move the balls down. We're going to aim for right about like the midpoint in between the shoulder blades. So both of these balls are in between my shoulder blades. I'm going to take my arms up into the air, and two things we're going to do. One, I'm again going to take my hips up, and two different things that we're going to do with our arms. Having them up in the air, I'm going to try to relax my shoulders and my upper back as much as I possibly can, and I'm just going to let my arms flow around. No specific direction here. You can go side to side, up and down, make circles with your arms. It's going to look funky to anyone looking at you, but that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. Just let yourself move. Just nice and relaxed. And what this is going to do is get those shoulder blades moving, and so all the muscles in between them moving around as well. You can kind of use this as a way of looking for any tender bits that you have, which are really common, like trigger points are super common in between the shoulder blades. And you can use this as a way of kind of finding out where those are, putting on a little pressure on them to help them to relax a little bit. Although if you do have proper trigger points, you need to be doing a lot of strength training on those muscles where those trigger points are located. That's important. Alright, so after we've done that for about a minute, let your arms relax. Balls are staying in the same spot, and I'm going to give myself a big hug because I love myself, as you should love yourself as well, and I really hope you do. From here, I'm trying to grab around the insides of my shoulder blades, and I'm going to start moving my body around this time. Kind of like how I was moving my arms all over the place, up and down, side to side, moving in circles, and now moving my torso around in as much range of motion as I can, covering that whole area of my upper back, right around the spine, in between my shoulder blades, really getting into those traps, getting into those rhomboids, and also moving the ribs and the intercostals around, so the muscles in between the ribs that help to hold them together. Alright, from there, and again, if you ever want to spend a little bit more time, please feel free to pause the video and just keep going with that for another couple of minutes. Now, when you're doing this, very important that when you've massaged out your upper back for a good few minutes, do not stand up. Just let yourself relax, pull the balls or the tool that you're using off to the side, and just take a few moments to breathe. It's always really important. Now, the reason why we want to roll out our upper back is that about 2/3 of your breathing muscles, your respiratory muscles, are actually in your upper back. So if we get those to relax and to really loosen up a bit, we can increase our ability to breathe. This can have a significant effect on our blood pressure. So part of what we get with decreasing stress is also a decrease in blood pressure. So that can drastically reduce. And people do often get a bit faint if they try to jump up to standing from that position. Like sometimes that can happen to people when they haven't done any sort of massage. They just simply go from laying to standing. And this can just exacerbate that. So next bit, I'm going to take the soft inflated ball. I'm going to lay down on it, thinking about putting my belly button right on the ball. Now, if you've never done this before, this can be a little bit gnarly to begin with. It's a very strange sensation at first, but all we're going to do is spend 1 to 2 minutes just simply breathing. Put your head down. Try not to watch the video for this. Just let yourself move and breathe. So big deep breaths, as big as you can. And you will feel like you're pushing the ball out of your belly, and that's fine. Now again, you want to take this really gentle and very, very slow. If you feel any feelings in your belly that are kind of, sketchy, you don't like it, you don't think that's natural, back off a little bit. This can be incredibly uncomfortable, especially if you have a lot of inflammation in your guts, in your digestive system, or if you're just really sore from doing sit-ups all day. That can cause some pain as well. And again, we're just taking some big deep breaths. You want to have a timer on for about 2 minutes ideally, but we'll go for about 1 to 2 here. We'll see how it feels. And a big part of what we're doing here is not only massaging out our abs, but also massaging out all the organs in this vicinity. So that includes like your liver, your intestines, your spleen, your bladder. For the women, you're getting onto the uterus as well as you travel down further into the hips. And you're also massaging out a lot of your immune system. So like your lymph vessels. And you have the largest lymph and blood vessels in your body and your torso right in this area. Like your aorta, for example. But also massive lymph vessels. So that can drastically help with boosting your immune system by increasing your ability to filter out any cellular debris or pathogens that have been getting caught up in there. It's also kind of hard to talk when you're doing this. And you shouldn't talk when you're doing this. But anyways, so after we've done that for a bit, we've kind of mobilized our belly, mobilized our diaphragm a little bit. Now what I would like you to do is to pause the video and go for about 30 seconds of just deep breathing. You can sit upright, you can lay down, whatever position you want to be in. And then after about 30 seconds of that, we're going to come back and move on to the next bit where we are going to intentionally create some suction in our torso. So what we're looking at here is that I want to take a few moments to kind of move my belly around. And I'm just looking at like the muscular pressure. I'm not breathing into position here, but if I can expand my belly out, big belly there, and then pull it in. So like you should be able to see your ribcage there. And then I'm going to, after a few reps of that, then I'm going to try matching that with my breath. So I want my breath to push my belly out instead of just my muscles pushing it out. So, and that should include the whole torso coming out as well. And then as you exhale, just think about your whole torso deflating. And as you come to the end of that exhale, I want you to try and suck in your belly pretty much as in and up as you possibly can. So you only have to hold it for, we'll say, about 2 seconds. You're just holding the up position. Hold your breath for a bit. You cannot breathe if you do this. It's illegal. And then you're going to breathe in and let your belly come out. And we'll carry that on for about 1 to 2 minutes, just like all the other drills. So if you can keep up with that whole routine, at the end of it, it should leave you feeling pretty refreshed, feeling pretty relaxed, and like you can take a really big deep breath. And that's one of the biggest goals of this, allowing you to breathe more easily, which is absolutely key to resetting your nervous system, to having a nice relaxed body, and a relaxed body that's able to actually heal and not stay stressed out where it can't heal. So can drastically increase your fitness gains, which everyone loves. So if you love that, please give me a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow any further content. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below, and I'll be happy to answer anything that you have. Thanks, guys.